Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning to Madam Nadia. So today my group will present on education policy, which is MBM MBI policy. So I will introduce. My name is Siti Nur Izzah binti Anwar. So what is MBM MBI? MBM MBI stands for memartabatkan bahasa Melayu dan memperkukuh bahasa Inggeris. So it also known as upholding the Malay language and strengthening the command of English language. So this policy has been introduced by our Ministry of Education in a year of 2009. So this policy also have been introduced after the abolishment of PPSMI policy. PPSMI is the teaching and learning of science and mathematics in English. The PPSMI policy has been introduced by Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad in the year of 2003. Okay, the first and main objective of PPSMI policy is to um, improve the command of English language among the students in secondary and primary schools. So the learning of science and mathematics subject in school were used the English medium only. So the PPSMI policy has been debated by many academics, teachers, public, and also the politicians, since the students, not all of the student is in a proficient English. So uh, this debate this debates on PPSMI policy has resulted in abolishments of PPSMI policy. So PPSMI policy has been abolished in July 2009 by the Malaysian Cabinet. Okay, so MBM MBI policy are introduced after these abolishments, and it's also been implemented after the study and observation made by various parties that the implementation of PPSMI policy is not that effective and efficient for the students and the teachers. So based on the observation made by University Pendidikan Sultan Idris, it showed that the student has faced difficulties in understanding the terms and the subject, uh, the terms and the subject, since all of the learning and teaching process was in English. So it's not only affect the students, but also it has affected the teachers. It have give more stressful and burden to the teachers, since they need to teach science and mathematics in both Malay and English language in order to help them understand the subject and terms better. So here, upholding Malay language is actually to placing the language as supposed at the suitable position as a national language, as stated in Article 152 of Federal Constitutions. So we know that Malay language is a national language that has been provided in our Education Act 1996. Next, for the English language, its main objective is to strengthen English language to improve the competitiveness in national and international language. So English language also, we know that it is a international communication language that need to be mastered well and effectively by the citizens. Okay, Next, the aim of MBM-MBI policy is to enhance the usage of Malay language as a medium of communications in the primary and secondary national schools, and it is also to ensure that everyone master both Malay and English language well. It is also to ensure that students can speak in Malay and English fluently and easily. Okay, the national school that I have mentioned earlier is include the Tamil language at Tamil national type schools and Chinese language in Chinese national type schools. Okay, next, the principle of MBM-MBI policy has been carried out gradually from the year of 2010 after the abolishment of PPSMI policy in 2009. So, in this transition process, the schools can use both of the language, which is Malay and English language, in as a medium in the lesson and learning process in science and mathematics subject. Okay, this process actually were aimed to help the teachers and the students to adapt with the changes in the policy from the PPSMI policy to MBM MBI policy. So our Ministry of Education uh, have provided about three alternative for teaching and learning process of science and mathematics subject Okay, so the first alternative that been provided by our Ministry of Education is learning and teaching process of science and mathematics subject in Malay, Chinese, or Tamil. It based on the school type. And the second alternative is learning and teaching process in English only. And the third alternative is learning and teaching of science and mathematics subject in both language, Malay or English, or bilingual. Okay, so next, the main objective of MBM MBI policy is to improve the understanding of students in English in Malay. Second, to provide Malay and English subject teachers based on their options and improve the competence of English and Malay language teachers. Next, improving the infrastructure and learning materials in learning and teaching process. And next, to improve the use of Malay and English language in the outdoor activities. Okay, now we move to the 8 strategies that have been provided in MBM MBI policy. So, the first strategies is uh, transforms Malay and English language curriculum. So under these implementations of MBM MBI policy, the Malay and English language curriculum in secondary and primary schools also been drafted the modular approaches that prioritize the communication skills. So the strong language basics is an important element for the effective and efficient learning and teaching process in a school. Okay, next, the second strategy that has been highlighted in MBM MBI policy is strengthening Malay and English language teachers' competence. So, the increasing teachers' capacity program that has been implemented by the government by strengthening the practical training in their pre-service and in-service. Second is strengthen Malay and English language teachers' professionalisms and upholding the Teachers Education Institute as a Malay Language Excellence Center, and English Language Excellence Center, that known as PKBM and PKBI. So the third strategy in MBM MBI policy is the government or our Ministry of Education will placing Malay and English teachers according to their options. So Ministry of Education have implemented the relocation program for the Malay and English language teachers according to their options based on the school needs. So actually the aim of this program is to place the teachers and uh, to place the teachers according to their options in order to ensure the learning and teaching process can be done effectively. Okay, and next, the fourth strategy is to use the professional service consultants and teachers assistant. So basically there are three programs that has been implemented by our government, which is Penutur Jati program, Fulbright English Teaching Assistant Program, all known as ETA, and English Language Contract Teachers Program. Okay, so each of this program has its own purpose. For example, is the program of English Teaching Assistant Program. The 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 purpose of this the purpose of this program is to help the English language teacher, and uh, actually this program is the collaboration between Malaysia government and United States of America government. Okay, next, the strategy is widening the usage of materials and informations and communication technology, that known as TMK, in the learning and teachings of Malay and English language process. So, other than the textbook that provided by our government, our Ministry of Education also make an initiative to provide additional reading and teaching material and digital material to support the textbook using. Okay, so the teachers need to use the materials and facilities that has been provided by our government in the learning and teaching process in order um, to um, attract the student in the classroom during the learning and teaching process. So the sixth strategy is expanding publicity and language strengthening campaign. Okay, this strategy is to disperse the policy informations in the selected media. So the implementations of this strategy will increase the support and cooperations from all the parties to ensure the success of this policy. Okay, the next strategy is improving the students' participations in language outdoor activities. So basically this strategy is aimed to improve the confidence, fluency, the open-minded and soft skills of the students in English and Malay language. So Ministry of Education actually want to generate the education system that give students opportunities to share their experience and aspirations for the sake of strengthening the unity basics among the students. Okay, and the last strategy in MBM MBI policy is implemented the assessment and student report on their achievement details. So the assessment transformations in English and Malay language is a holistic balanced form of assessment which assess the cognitive, effective, and psychomotor. So that is all from me.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Sulhatun Najihah binti Muakisti. Now I will explain about the implementation of MBM-MBI policy. MBM-MBI policy is the policy that have been introduced by the government following the abolition of PPSMI, that is Science and Mathematics Teaching and Learning in English policy. The minister have decided to implement MBM-MBI policy in stages starting 2010. During the transition, school will use English or introductory language in their teaching and learning of science and mathematics subjects. This is to help teacher and student to adapt with the policy changes. There are few strategies in implement MBM-MBI policy. The strategy involves upholding the Malay language as the language of science and mathematics in national schools and secondary school, as well as the improvement of the teaching and learning of Malay language. Meanwhile, strategies for strengthening English proficiency involve improving the English curriculum as well as providing teachers with enough and quality materials to implement the curriculum. 13 initiatives under the MBM-MBI policy under the 10 Malaysian Plan have been outlined. In order to implement all the initiatives, 8 key initiatives have been proposed as MBM-MBI Key Action Plan. The 8 strategies are transforming the Bahasa Malaysia and English curriculum, enhance the competency of Malay language and English language teacher, placing Malay language and English language teacher according to option, using expert service, consultants and teacher assistant, expanding the use of materials and GPA in PNP of Bahasa Malaysia and English, expanding of publicity and language enhancement campaign, increasing students' participation in activities language outside of the classroom, also implementing assessment and reporting student achievement description. The removal of PPSMI by soft landing is to make sure that MBM-MBI policy does not disturb the students that have been learning science and mathematics under the PPSMI. To provide soft landing mechanism for implementing science and mathematics in Malay language, both subjects will be taught in bilanguage beginning in 2010 in primary and secondary school. PNP of Science and Mathematics for grade 4, 5 and 6 will conducted in bilanguage. For that, UPSR will conducted in bilanguage until 2016. PNP of Science and Mathematics for Form 4 and Form 5 will be used bilanguage, that is Bahasa Malaysia and English. And for SPM, Science and Mathematics subjects will conducted in bilanguage until 2015. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Maslina Suhai binti Muhammad Jasni and I'll be continuing on the issue that led to a creation of MBM-MBI. First, the weaknesses in the use and mastery in English. This has been a biggest contribution that the creation of MBM-MBI. Students fail to master English makes them lag behind in providing an information that mostly in English. A teacher plays an important role to ensure that happens. However, there are still teachers who have low in English properly and it has led to a lack of confidence in teaching English. In addition to that, the motivation of the student in taking SPM, where they are not required to pass in English exam, make it worse as the student take English subject lightly. Next, the failure in Malay language and weak in English. The use of Malay language is a very important mechanism in the education system. If the basic use of Malay steady, other will be easy. The main problem of that, many Malay language speakers are still not able to use the right language when spoke, although most of them are local speakers, including students in higher education institutions. Thus, strengthening the Malay language at the local level must be improved, and this is something that is very sad. As for the English, students lead by teacher using the system fully bilingual or English language to ensure that the students are able to understand the syllabus being taught in the class. These teaching techniques delay the student learning process and cause English language to fail in the class. In fact, English also has affects student achievement in rural areas. However, the opposite true of the urban student, as they have the access and facilities to master in English. As a result, weak English proficiency has created a gap between urban and rural students. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Putri Srabanto Anasani, and I will explain to you about the challenges of the policy implementation. First, as mentioned by Nur Solihatun Najah previously, the policy uses soft landing strategy. Do you know how it works? I will explain it to you in details and how it will affect students negatively. Due to the MBM-MBI policy, usage of Malay language as the language of instruction in primary and secondary schools started in 2011 and 2017 respectively. As illustrated in Table 1, in 2011, only Standard 1 had to use Malay. Standard 2 until Standard 6 used whichever language the school decided, either in English, Malay, Tamil or Chinese. Then, the Standard 1 pupils in 2011 continued using Malay the next year, 2012, when they are in Standard 2. And the new Standard 1 students in 2012 also use Malay. Can you see the flow of the implementation? The policy did not disturb students who were already using English at that time under the PPSMI policy. So how do this becomes a challenge? Every school gets to decide which language they will use for the students who are currently learning under the PPSMI policy at that time. It means they can choose to use either English, Malay, Tamil or Chinese. The authority given to school have caused inconsistency because each of them might opt for a different language. This inconsistency has become troublesome for some Standard 6 students before 2016 particularly. This is due to the reason that their primary school might have used English for teaching and learning, but their current secondary school are using Malay instead, and vice versa. In the guidelines provided for school, it is mentioned that students are able to request to transfer to another school based on the language they choose. However, it is unfortunate that some of them were not able to request to transfer school because they faced problems such as further distance from home to school, transport availability, and also cost. So they had to stay in their current school and continue learning in language different from the one they use in Standard 6. So they have to cope with new language in learning science and mathematics, especially to understand the terms and concepts. Next, the changes from PPSMI policy to MBM-MBI policy does not affect Form 6 education. The students will continue the syllabus in English. It is forecasted that starting 2022, Form 6 students will encounter difficulty as they have to cope with the transition of learning science and mathematics in Malay to learning them in English. I will show you the journey of the first batch who started the MBM-MBI policy in 2011. From the tables, it can be seen that the first batch who started the MBM-MBI policy in 2011 will finish their Form 5 education in 2021 after learning science and mathematics in Malay for 11 years. Hence, in 2022, if they were to enter Form 6 education, where science and mathematics subjects are taught in English, they may be struggling to go through the transition of language from Malay to English. Nur Fatin Hanisa will explain on the policy evaluation before ending our presentation.
My name is Nurfatin Hanisa and I will be presenting on the evaluation of MBM-MBI policy, or also known as to uphold Bahasa Malaysia and to strengthen the English language. To compare MBM-MBI policy with PPSMI, or also known as Teaching and Learning of Science and Mathematics in an English policy, MBM-MBI policy received more positive feedback compared to PPSMI. Many organizations, especially the academician in the field of language and education, stated that students are losing their interest in learning mathematics and science because they do not understand. A study has been conducted to evaluate the performance and the participant of MBM-MBI policy. The study has involved 207 primary and secondary schools from all over Malaysia. The result of the study showed a good result from the student competency from both primary and secondary school, as well as having a good competency by the student. The teacher's competency also showed a positive feedback. This showed that if the teacher are eager to be participated in MBM-MBI program, the student also will be encouraged to do the same as they receive the support from their teachers. Moreover, a study also has been conducted to show student preference in learning mathematics and science. The study were distributed to 441 UKM science stream students from different faculty and have similar background in science and mathematics from primary school up to university level. As the result, many of them agree that MBM-MBI programs bring a lot more benefit as they can understand clearly about the subject. Overall, both studies conducted showed a positive response toward the new policy, which to uphold the Malay language and strengthen the command of English. Although there are also criticism received when implementing MBM-MBI policy, the policy still be implemented as the government believes that the new policy will give changes in the education level of students in Malaysia. That's all from me. Thank you.